Second day of April, and we get into racing from the Western Cape. We are at Kenilworth for a bumper program. There are no features as such. There is an on-black type of sprint as race number 7, but it is very competitive indeed. Of course, a reminder, if you have missed us over the long weekend, you've been away, you can get in touch with us on our X handle, or alternatively, you can get in touch with Messrs. Burrows and Marie on our WhatsApp number that is at the bottom of the screen. We look forward to a 12:30 start to an 8-race program. That means we get straight in to a bipod. I can just tell you that weather-wise at this early stage, we are expecting no rain this afternoon. There have been 40 millimeters over the last 7 days, but still over the last 24 hours, there has been 10 millimeters of irrigation applied by the track manager, and the going is said to be good. Right, without further ado, let us first of all welcome our Western Cape based analyst, and that is Mr. Burrows. Mr. Burrows, a happy Tuesday to you, and hopefully you've had some breaks and some rest as well as a profitable long weekend.
Well, I wouldn't say a profitable long weekend. Yesterday was a cracker at Scottsville. A lot of the fancied horses arrived, and we also labelled that horse in race 1 against the odds-on favourite of Justin Snaith, which arrived. It was a good day yesterday. We recouped the losses from the weekend, and I look forward to this Cape meeting. I stay in Cape Town. The weather is beautiful. Not a breath of wind. Sun's out. Lovely for racing. The pen reading's probably going to be around 2021. Race 1. I thought the horse to beat Otaniqua. I've heard whispers about this horse that he can run. And he's a Vercingetorix out of a Captain Almere that I think she was a sprinter, if I'm not mistaken. So this horse could make a winning debut. He is 2-1 in the betting. Then you've got your favourite that hasn't got much form to write home about. Gimme the Good Life. Richard Faree's riding it. That's probably why he's open up favourite. But 2 mediocre efforts to date. I know that last run wasn't bad because Talk to the Master won and he's above average. But I would go 7 to beat 10 and then followed by numbers 1 and 6 that ran in a juvenile plate on debut.
All right, 7 from 10, and then 1 and 6 as the supporting chorus. Now, just talking about the jockey change, Bernard Fader had 2 rides on the afternoon. He has been replaced. Number 6, Bank Street. Sean Veal now picks up the rider from his sister, Vaughan Marshall. Of course, a warm welcome to you, and hopefully you had a restful weekend.
I hope you did, Cecil, because you've been on the boil for quite some time.
Thank you for those good thoughts. But no, the show must go on, and of course, it is in the blood, so we carry on. Now, you're doing as a bipod as per normal, and I believe you got 2 bankers for us.
I do have 2 bankers in the opening leg. I have gone wide, though. I've included the scratching to double up with the potential with the favourite, while potentially
There's
double
2 scratches, by the way, now. Huh?
Okay.
PJ is also scratched, first time from the Pit Border stable.
All right, I'll put in the 3. So the 1 and the 6 both finished alongside each other on debut. Both have got scope. I'm a little bit wary of that form line, though. Let's see how it works out today. Otaniqua is actually related to Kampala Campari. He was a 10 furlong horse. He was more of a staying type, but you can see there has been some support for him on debut. And the comments in the front of the book, there is one, Cecil. Let me just go to it.
And it was half brother to Volmanda, who won over 2014.
Yes, yeah. Has had a gallop and is doing well. So I think that's fairly upbeat. And then the current favourite is number 10. Now, he was sandwiched in between a horse called Isi Vivani,
who won in Durban,
and Mauritius Kestrel, who ran 2nd. And that stable's turned in the Western Cape. So let's see how he goes today. He's got, obviously, the experience on his side.
Worry not, Mr. Marie is going wide, but he has got a couple of bankers for us. Let's confirm that bipod, which closes at 12:30 with the running of race number 1. Those bankers come about in races 3 and 4. We will be touching on those bankers as we get towards races 3 and 4. On with the preview for Kenilworth this afternoon. We go. It is an off time of 1:05 to race number 2, the start of the place accumulator. I can confirm the scratching. It is number 3, Spare. And the last of Mr. Bernard Faderherb's engagements at Kenilworth was intended to be the 10, Unsung Hero, once again for Vaughan Marshall. And once again, Sean Veal gets the right. Some well-bred sorts in race number 1. And of course, that form line of a Little Ballerina comes into play. So we start off with you, Mr. Marie. Mr. Burrows did allude to that win. Justin Snaith's a winner in the first race. That also came out of that little ballerina form line. I think made it 5 winners directly. And I think tomorrow or Thursday in Joburg, we do have a potential winner from that form line again.
Taking on the Aussie
Yes,
party.
that is correct.
I don't know about that, Cecil. It's going to have to be really good. There's a comment with regards to Mr. Crawford's run over here, number 9, time honored. Working well, each way chance. I couldn't find too much info on the dam.
Yes, I tried as
No,
well. Tia, couldn't find anything.
yeah. Once again, I played wide, Cecil. Like I touched on in the first race preview, I'm a little bit skeptical with regards to African Princess form line. But you know, Rama Fonseca looked outstanding going to post in his later start. He came out flying. Well, he actually came out a little bit slow, and then he took over, and it looked like he had the race at his mercy. But he came up for in the latter stages. I'm not too sure if he'll be ridden with more restraint now that he's gained the extra furlong. But he's the obvious runner of I mean, he's got the form. Let's just see how that holds up in race 1. I also backed him up with a horse from that same form line, Bomber Bay. He actually finished the race well on debut, and it appears if the extra furlong will be in his favor, so he could narrow that deficit, or if not reverse the form with a 1 Rama Fonseca. And then the 10, the comments are upbeat. The 9, and then I put in the 10, Unsung Hero. Now, the last time we raced at Kenilworth, we actually saw the outside going be superior in the latter part of the day. He showed good improvements in his next starts, and if he's progressed any further since then, he could be a player. So I went wide in the opening leg of the PA.
All right, Mr. Burrows, we've got a well-related sort that Mr. Marie didn't touch on. Obviously, was not fancied at all on a debut. That is the 4 Lord Byron, I believe, a half a sibling to a seed again.
Yes, probably looking for 1,600 meters plus. I wouldn't look too much into that form. He did get beat 17 lengths, 20 out of 20. So not for me. The stable fancy time honored. This horse, if you go to the dam Tia, now she was a full sister to Talina, who won the Guineas, ran 3rd in the Summer Cup. He ran a 2nd in the Dutch St. Leger. He raced in Dubai, Germany, Italy, and South Africa. He was a top horse, Talina. And the dam is a full sister to him. So obviously maybe looking for a little bit further, but debuting over 1,200 meters, the word is out that he'll go very close to winning. Dangers, you got number 1, Rama Fonseca, good last effort after running in 2 features. He'll be competitive. And then Bomber Bay and Unsung Hero of the rest. I'm going for another first-timer, number 9, to beat the 1.
Okay, so that is the suggestion of the 2 gentlemen. A 1, 6, 9, and a 10 generally is very popular in that first leg of the PA. That pool closes with the running of race 2 at 1:05. Well, you heard Mr. Burrows suggest that he had a very good day at Hollywood Bets of Scottsville to start off the new month and the new week. And of course, if you had a similar start to the new week, you can get in touch with us on our X handle, formerly Twitter, or alternatively on a WhatsApp. So we're going to start off with Mr. Marie, because we're going to be turning to the Pick 6 input from Mr. Burrows. Now, race number 3 is a Cape Turf Club Juvenile Plate. It's over the 1100. We've once again got a scratching. That's a 4 Mystic Majesty, and it ended first timer for John Finlayson and Mr. Eric Sands. Right, Lion Rampart hasn't done too much wrong in the last 4 heats. It's 4 heats. I did remember the analyst from the UK who was covering the parade ring preview on Met Day, saying the horse was a little bit edgy or a bit too keen on in the parade, in the pre-canter parade. I hope Lion Rampart brings its true form to the races, and that 4-10 certainly looks a snitch.
I believe so, Cecil. You know, strictly on paper, there's not much separating the 2 race runners over here, Lion Rampart and number 5, All Is Green. I mean, they did meet on the Roman Agent run, and there was just over a length and a half in favor of Lion Rampart. But I don't believe he ran to his best ability on that day. He hit the front, he was running around. They fitted him with a set of blinkers for the first time. last time out in the grade 3 nursery, but perhaps that's why he was a bit uptight on parade with the blinkers on in the crowds for the first time. But I thought that was a cracking effort. So I'm going to go as far as saying that he'll put more distance between himself and his biggest danger over here. So I'm going into this race extremely confident.
And we've got a couple of Buffalo Bill Codys debuting in race number
Yeah.
3, both from the Candice Bass Robinson stable. And the first of those who's been nibbled at, looks to be the one that certainly is forward. You mentioned the form line, similar form line. We had a sibling of Big Burn and what is it? The Dingaans winner that went overseas, Catch 22, is it?
Yes,
Was it
yeah,
Catch 22? Yeah.
Yeah, Cecil, there aren't upbeat comments with regards to the first timers over here. So there isn't much confidence coming from any of the trainers.
All right, let's turn to Mr. Burrows. Mr. Burrows, we are looking forward to your pick 6. Do we have a bank in the first leg, sir?
Well, Cecil, you only need 2 horses for the field. So rather play the safe route. Go 5 and 7. You know you're going to get through the first leg because the rest of the runners are all first timers. So don't put any of the first timers in. Just go 5 and 7 and you through the pick 6. So it's a 5-legged pick 6. I've gone both. Lion Rampart, very hard to beat. He's got ability. I saw when he won his maiden, when he beat Roman Agent, the way he quickened up late again. He really looked eye-catching. I'm not a big fan of juveniles with blinkers on, but even though he's got the blinkers on, again, his last start was good enough to suggest he's good enough to win this race. So Lion Rampart, a very confident selection in the first leg.
I don't believe we have any bankers. Let's confirm that indeed you've gone 2 horses by the 2 horses in race number 5, 3 and 8. And in the penultimate again, 2 horses at 3 and 5. 1,728 Rand. Still a reasonable outlay that would see you 86 Rand 40 as a 5% investment in the pick 6. All right, we've got 2 jackpots on the go, and they are back-to-back races, 4 and 5 being an 8-race program. This is a Wolf Power Syndicate maiden plate. It's over the 1,400, and it's a field of 9 fillies and mares. We've got Ice Rain, who's got all the exposed form, but just doesn't seem to get that nose down where it matters most. That penultimate form line, Riverstone on midday, that is holding up well. I think we've had about 4 winners, including Riverstone again.
Yeah, Cecil. If she puts in a similar effort to that run behind Riverstone, it's race over, in my opinion. And I've opted to bank her in all my bets. I thought last time out it wasn't the worst of efforts. It's never easy giving weight in open maidens. And she had the worst draw to contend with. Go back 3 runs to Wagug. We know that Wagug's won again. And there were also several winners from that form line. So I'm surprised to see her priced up second favorite in the market. I thought she'd be shorter, so I wouldn't. It would be no shock to see her shorten. I like her chances. 1 draw back in a plated race. 2 things heavily in her favor this time around. Improvement from Charles Dickens' sister, Charlotte Bronte.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah, she did show some improvements in her second start. Now she steps up to the 1,400. I don't know if she's ready to get it right in her third start, but it looks like she's progressing. So I make her the immediate danger to Ice Rain. And then I'm not too sure what's happening here, Cecil, with the jockey arrangements of numbers 7 and 9.
That's right.
What would you put that down to? I mean, Louis Nkot was the stable jockey and he's riding number 7 over number 9. Who's the favourite?
I
don't
guess
know.
it's a loyalty maybe to the Sherrills, because he does. I mean, they've been stalwarts of the stable, as does the Ridgemont. So it's a very hard one. Catch 22. Maybe the man in Cape Town can tell us, although he's not a big conspiracy theorist like you, Mr. Burrows. We want to know what's happening with the jockey arrangements on the 7 and the 9. Both are Crawford runners.
No, I wouldn't know, Cecil, but I didn't look too much into that because Pretty Precious is obviously the right one. She's been campaigning over 1,200 meters, and she's a Patala Palace out of Overarching that went a mile. So This could be the type of trip she's looking for. She could be limited because I've watched her in the past. Her eye-catching run had to be behind Kyalami Girl, but then again, Kyalami Girl won with a ton in hand, and she was chasing her home. Last time out, disappointing at 11 to 10. She moved up to a point, didn't find extra. Maybe the 14 is what she's looking for. And in this type of company, she's going to run a cracker. You've got Ice Rain that I emptied out on last time out. I thought she couldn't get beat. And she was far out of her ground, but she didn't even run on. She moved up to a point down the center and then was one-paced. I thought a very disappointing effort. And Charlotte Bronte, very lovely pedigree. She ran 9 lengths off Kyalami Girl on debut, so she was around 8 lengths off Pretty Precious. But then she only got beat 3 lengths by Love Shack, so that natural improvement showed. So 1, 5, and 9 is the safe route in no particular order.
By the way, we've got a jackpot suggestion from you, Mr. Burrows. 1, 5, and 9 by the 3 and 8 by the field. And then we've got the 3 and 5 in a race number 7. That's a 96 Rand outlay to the first jackpot, race number 4. All right, so we've got an open maiden as race number 5. It's over the 1,800 meters. We should be off with race 5. Also a chance to get involved in the second jackpot at 10 to 3. A reminder, that is details of our contact handles. That is, of course, the X, and the WhatsApp number is also displayed. So race number 5 is over the 1,800 meters. Then just having a quick look as we hand over to Mr. Burrows for race number 5. It's at 35 to 20 about the 8 English Mistress. Lots of money coming in. The 3 Lickety. Split is a 2 to 1, 9 to 2, and a better bar. Those lots of these, more than half the field, or half the field at least, all met behind a heliotrope, and 1 or 2 have former turnarounds. Mr. Burrows.
Yes, it's not clear cut, but I am leaning towards the 2 market rivals, English Mistress and Lickety Split, should I say. English Mistress, I liked her last time out. I thought she was a great place bet. She was trading at 8 to 1. And she had the form to run a good race. She moved up strongly the final 200 to only be beaten half a length by Heliotrope. And she had Lickety Split a quarter of a length behind her. It was also staying on very strongly. Lickety Split, she can be a bit sluggish away, so she might lose her position from a good draw. It all depends on how she jumps. If she's in the race early, then she could be the likely winner. But I'm still leaning towards English Mistress. I think Aldo's going to put her in a great position and hopefully get there in time. So English Mistress to beat Lickety Split. And then I've got some respect for this horse, Lucky 13, that's only had 4 starts, and she wasn't far off them last time out.
Yeah, those colours have been quite prominent of late. We saw Player come through to win in the same colours as Lucky 13, Mr. Gary Player, and Dave McLean. And I think the same ownership of the Banker of the Day on Sunday, part of the ownership along with Mrs. Suzette at Hollywood Bets Gravel.
Oh, double Grand Slam.
Double Grand Slam. Right, you tell us. We know, and I think we've had the bullishness from Mr. Burrows where we're going to be going for that selection. What about race number 5 for you?
I can't be that bullish, Cecil. It's open maiden. There's very little separating several runners over here, so luck in running will determine the outcome. Lickety Splits, if she jumps on terms this time round, she's got a strong chance of reversing the form with English Mistress. Sansa Stark, she actually pinged the gates last time out, and she was going to be caught very wide, and Richard just dropped her out to last. Stayed on in the latter stages. You can see in the past, Richard's actually made use of this filly and put her in front. If she gets handy this time round, I can see her fighting at the finish. And don't discount Princess of Bayou's chances. I mean, on the basic maneuvers run, she holds a few, and she was returning from a lengthy layoff on that occasion. Now she's having a peak run. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. All I'm saying is Sansa Stark will run a much improved race on what we saw last time out, Cecil.
Right, let's put up Mr. Burrows' selection. He has got a positive selection, and I think no prize for guessing it is English Mistress. Sansa Stark, now just looking at Richards' stats with the Pete Board of the last 12 months, 19 rides, 5 wins, 3 seconds, 2/3, and 3/4. So do take note, when he does take their rides, he feels they're ready. We leave the juveniles and the maidens behind as we get into race 6, the last chance to get involved in a pick 3. The distances are 1,200 meters. Average merit rating of the field is 92. And just having a look at the scratching, it is the 4 Japanese rows also scratched in the race. Here's the number 8 Lady Lookalike, both are Brett Crawford inmates. That leaves us a field of 6. And don't forget, you can get in touch with us via our X handle or indeed our WhatsApp number. Let's get to Mr. Burrows. An interesting middle stakes over the 1,200 meters. We're left with 6 runners, but still quite competitive.
Yes, it is competitive. I'm going to have to lean towards, just give me a second. I see the 4 and 8 have been scratched. I only picked that up now. So the 2, Distinction, I was very impressed with her last win. She absolutely took off. And she could be the horse to beat. Her stable companion, Pacific Green, also has a terrific turn of foot on her day. And I think both Snaith runners have a realistic chance of winning. Then you've got Unconquerable Lady, very consistent, never runs a bad race. And Miss Marguerite, she's been campaigning in some features. She's got 61.5 kilos to shoulder. And on collateral form with Distinction in the past, Distinction slightly better off. So 2, 3, 6, and 7, I think all have a winning chance. I've excluded numbers 1 and 5.
2, 3, 6, and 7. Miss Marguerite currently showing at 19 to 10. The 6, the current Unconquerable Lady, 22 to 10. And Mr. Marie, as we hand over to you, the word from the ownership of number 1, Monshada, is that she needed her first runner for the Lucinda Water Rough Saban under should strip a lot fitter for this race. The stable opted to remove the blinkers as she over-raced last time, and the plan is to ride her from just off of the pace. That is the story of the one. That's one of 6 runners in the race.
Yeah, Cecil, you'll see my pick 3. I went 4 of the 6. Very difficult race. Distinction, I thought if she never got up in the later stages last time, she would have been an unlucky loser because at about the 200, she got a little bit tight and she had to switch in. If you like her chances, look at the ripple effect run. Miss Marguerite beat her and is better off at the weights. So you have to give respect to Miss Marguerite. Pacific Green's got a lovely turn on foot on her day. She could quicken up and is certainly capable. And then Unconquerable Lady is ultra consistent, yeah, so not confident.
So, right, 4 of the horses. Let's confirm what the bipod or the pick 3 consists of, a courtesy of Mr. Marie. Starts in race number 6, and this will be the last pick 3 of the afternoon. 2, 3, 6, and 7, identical thought process to Mr. Burrows. And then in our feature coming up next, that is a 2 and a 5, and then 3, 6, and 9 at the back. 24 Rand is the outlay, and that 6th race is due off at 15:25. Okay, so we get to race number 7, the highlight of the afternoon. It is 6 runners now with the scratching of the 4 Icy Blast. It is a renewal of rivalries for 2/3 of the field. They all met behind a winter cloud last time out on the 16th of March. And just having a look at the favoritism, the last time we looked was with number 5, and that is a Dance Variety. Certainly been a model of consistency from a consistent stable. Right, Mr. Burrows, I'm going to start with you. I know you're going to give us the selection, but just give us an overview of a 6-runner field.
I thought probably the strike of the day is Dance Variety. Now, I spoke to Adam last night. He said the horse is flying at home. He's really improving. He's a big horse, and he's taken time to fill out, and he's only getting better and better. The only concern is, Adam told me that he doesn't like to hit the front too early. He digs in his toes and he tries to find company. So you don't want to hit the front at the 300. Then he looks around and he wants to slow down. So you got to time it right. And that's the reason Cornet Offer's been riding him, because he knows him well. And you just got to get there in the closing stages and swoop on by the final 100, 200 meters. So a very confident selection, even though I've mentioned those points. Dance Variety to win. He's got a handy galloping weight. He's improving everything in his favor. The danger could be tough terrain. He's got a terrific turn of foot on his day. He's only got 51 kilos to shoulder. But Dance Variety, I'm having a strike. I think 15 to 10 is good value.
There we go, 15 to 10 for Mr. Burrows, a good striker in the offing, if not already struck. Dance Variety, well, the anti-penultimate run behind a Future Variety, giving Future Variety 1.5 kg, suddenly looks very attractive in what we saw when Future Variety, was it in the Prix Cup? I just forget. No, Prix Cup was won by Grand Slam 80, but the feature on that afternoon, the Grade 2, won by Thunderstruck.
Yes. Yeah, Cecil. I mean, Pierre Corneille off and Dance Variety have struck up a wonderful relationship. I thought he was a little bit unlucky in his last start because of the points that Darren touched on. He was exposed quite some way out, and Winter Cloud came and nabbed him close to home. He needs to be held up. He needs a bit of cover. I don't know if he's going to get it in such a small field, but Pierre will try to produce him as late as possible. Same can be said about a few of these runners. Mr. Cobbs isn't likes to also have a little bit of cover. The same can be said about Tough Terrain, Rio Karari. So who's left out in front is Mufasa.
And only 6 runners left.
Yeah, and Mufasa is very gutsy on his day. I watched his latest replay, and he was trying to rally very late in that start. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him finish closer to Dance Variety this time around. And if things go his way, he could possibly reverse the form. So I'm looking towards numbers 2 and 5 to fight this out.
2 and 5, and the last named number 5 is the selection of Mr. Burrows. It is 15, 16, and to 10. I'm sure if you talk to your bookmaker nicely, he could give you a little bit of a stretch, especially if you are a regular client. Right now, as I sit here, it is 11 to 10 now, so that 16, 15 to 10 has gone. Dance Variety, race number 7, confident win selection, Darren Burrows. As we round off our stay at Kenilworth with the running of race number 8, again, another reminder that you can get in touch with us via our X handle, formerly Twitter, and of course our WhatsApp number also displayed side by side with our X handle. All right, race number 8 to round off proceedings is a Brighter Future Cape Sea Stakes. It's over 1,000 meters, so it will be speed to round off the afternoon. Mr. Marie, it's an off time of 20 to 5, and generally we're getting into our jackpot quick mixes as well. Can you give us a bit of confidence, or can you give us a narrow guide to that first leg?
Yeah, Cecil, if I had to narrow it down to 3 runners, possibly 3, 6, and 9, but I'm not going to sit here and give you any confidence. Palo Queen was punted heavily last time out. She let the side down. Easy Money did improve with the blinkers. Maybe Keenan, can hug that outside running rail if it is fair towards the outside, and keep rolling. And then I'm really hoping for Lunga Gila's sake that Lover's Lane could fight out the finish of here and get into the mix of things. You know, he's really been coming down in the ratings. He's down to a 53, and he's not badly in at the weights over here. He's only got 52.5 to shoulder. Let's see how he goes.
All right, so that's Lover's Lane, the 3. Looking for improvement from Lover's Lane. Now, Mr. Burrows, as we touch on the last race, I know you've got a selection for us. Lover's Lane was beaten 6.10 length by Mighty Mac, and that is the stable that saddles the favorite, number 6, Apollo Queen. And again, touched on Richard's stats for the Paul Reeves, the stable in the last 12 months, 10 rides, 3 wins, 3 seconds, and 2 other placings. Any thoughts on Apollo Queen, or you've got something else for us?
Well, Palo Queen's consistent. You know, she's a speedy filly. I don't think she's a big filly. She looks like quite a small filly, and just 1,000 meters is her chop pretty much. But she'll be competitive. I'm not saying she's a good thing, but she will start favourite. I thought the value lay with Easy Money. She's just slowly started to drop in the ratings from a 78 down to a 70. And when she hit that 70 mark, she was more in the race. I mean, she ran a cracker, beaten 2 lengths by Cathera. She showed pace. She went to the front with the blinkers, and she was just outrun the final 100 meters. I don't think there's too much of a southeaster, because at the moment we're recording this at 10 o'clock. I don't see any wind around. So, I mean, obviously if a southeaster comes up and you go to the front, you got trouble the final 200 meters. But currently, I think Easy Money could get it her own way and stay on to victory. I've suggested a place bet on even easy money because you're getting around 11 to 10 a place and 11 to 2 a win.
Okay, so that is the story of the 8-race program at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth on this Tuesday, the 2nd of April. And be reminded that that last race gets underway at 20 to 5. And easy money, could be easy money if you lump in on the place selection or each way selections, but it is placed from Mr. Burrows.